I thought I'd come to a place that has had more than its fair share of detractors over the years. Once voted as the worst place to live in the UK by some margin, Luton is still hitting the headlines as recently as last week. Reportedly still a place where locals live in fear and is getting progressively worse. Join me as I take a stroll right into the lion's den. Thank you to everyone who takes time to like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Thank you ever so much, it really helps. Now roll the footage.
Welcome to Luton in Bedfordshire. So here I am at what was once called the worst place in the whole country to live. So I suppose this is the one, the big one. Population is around about 225,000 people. And there was a first settlement here in the 6th century, so it goes way back. So it's a very large town, is Luton. It's a Labour-run council, and it's also got 2 Labour MPs as well. In terms of the demographics of people that live here, around about 45% of the people are white, 37% Asian, 10% black. So there's a good mixture. 37% follow the Christian faith. As you can see, it's a large Christian church here. It looks like an old Mecca bingo hall. 32% follow Islam, 70% have the apathy of no religion whatsoever, and 11.6% follow other religions. So I'm in an area called Bury Park at the moment, which is quite well known actually, mainly for its variety of different styles of shops and its multiculturalism. So Luton's on a river called the River Lee, and historically it was well known for hat making, hence the nickname of the football club being the Hatters. A lot of people came into the area to work making hats, but they also came into Luton. Hiya, how you doing? You okay? They also came in to work at the Vauxhall plant. There was a large Vauxhall car plant here as well. Luton Airport, made famous by Lorraine Chase, for those of you that remember Lorraine Chase and Luton Airport. That opened in 1938, and now it's got a good university, the University of Bedfordshire. So we'll have a little wander down. Obviously I'm walking down with a camera, so I probably will get a few looks here and there. Lots of fresh vegetables, mangoes and so on. Very colourful. So as I keep walking down, I'll keep telling you about Luton, what it's all about. The football club actually won the League Cup in 1988. And they have been up in the top tier of football as well, so quite an achievement really. And we've just driven past Kenilworth Road, and I've got to say it didn't look great from the roadside. But I know they are moving, or they're going to be moving to something called Power Park at one time in the not too distant future. So I'll just try and spin round to the other side as well. You can see all the different styles of shops and so on, and you know, it doesn't look like a normal homogenous British street, that's for sure. It's got certainly different independent retailers for the people who reside in this area. I'm here on a Sunday, on a bank holiday Sunday, and it does seem very open and vibrant and busy. Lots of people about. Now, Luton is home to the largest one-day carnival in Europe, the Luton International Carnival, which occurs the day before the last Monday in May, so it would be the next bank holiday weekend towards the back end of this month. So here we go, lots of different shops, lots of fruit and veg. And they also have a St. Patrick's Day festival as well. Now, that's probably down to the fact that a lot of people from Ireland came over as well to work at Vauxhall's at one time. So there is a large population from both Ireland and Asia as well. A few more facts about Luton then. It's got 92 listed buildings. It is home to Luton Mela, or Mela, one of the most significant and well attended South Asian cultural events. So I'm just showing you the Islam Education Centre, the Masjid Al-Ghuraba, or Ghuraba, and there was a document, if you like, if you want to call it that, or report, or an article online relating to somebody who had visited the area and was warned that the main mosque, central mosque, found the centre there behind me quite worrying and troublesome for a number of reasons. It refused to take part in community cohesion programmes such as interfaith dialogues, preferring to live in its own ideological bubble. It is also the town's only major mosque not to sign up to the government's counter-terrorism programme, Prevent. Now, I don't know whether that's still the case. Obviously a lot of time has passed since this article was first published. Obviously this town was once classed as the most radical, and the editor of this article did say that after a quick Google search, some of the mainstream media such as the Daily Mail and the Times had described the mosque as radical, claiming it published extreme material on its now defunct website. So there has been people associated with that mosque, such as the Stockholm bomber and others. So just a tiny bit more about the Islamic centre you've just seen. The mosque name Al-Ghuraba is an alias of the banned organisation Al-Muhajirun, as noted on Wikipedia. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know, because it's a Wikipedia entry, but it's known there for its Salafi ideology, which seeks to return society to a more pure form of Islam. As it was associated with Al-Muhajirun and its leaders, people such as Anjem Chowdhury, remember him from Stoke? He has been associated with that place. He was a prominent figure in Al-Ghuraba and later emerged as the leader of Islam for UK. So the mosque has been subject of criticism, particularly regarding its Salafi views and connections to potentially radicalised groups. So it is a bit unnerving talking about it actually where we are. So I'm going to change the subject and we're going to get back on to having a look at some shops and streets, and we're going to head towards Kenilworth Road and with Luton Town FC. Okay, some interesting facts you might not know about Luton. It is actually twinned with Berlin in Germany. which is quite interesting when you think about it. Some notable people, well, former Leeds United manager Kevin Blackwell, he's from Luton. I didn't realise he was a goalkeeper though until I started doing the research, but there you go, you learn something every day, don't you? Now, he started as an apprentice at Cambridge United as well, not too far away, under Ron Atkinson. Yeah, the very same. Big Ron. Various members of Jethro Tull originate from Luton. Kerry Dixon, the footballer, played for Chelsea back in the day. Obviously Stacey Dooley, we've all seen her documentary, or if you haven't, I suggest you watch it. That covers this area. She actually walks down Berry Park as well, but give that a watch. Cricketer Monty Panesar, he was born here. Paul Sinner, the chaser. Ever tell you I've been on the chase? Yeah, I have. Yeah, honest. Didn't win, but nearly did. Beat Anne though in the head-to-head, so there you go. And Paul Young, ironically, one of his biggest hits was Wherever I Lay My Hat, That's My Home, and obviously it's got the history of the hat, so there we are. So here we are, Luton Central Mosque, a big one. There is no deity, only Allah. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Says there. Ornate gates, well ordered and well kept, as you'd imagine. I don't know what they've done with these trees up here. Looks a bit strange. I don't think I've ever seen trees like that. But yeah, there we are. So you can imagine this was a nice tree-lined avenue at one time, but it certainly doesn't look like that now. But anyway, that's an aside really. I think this is a bit of a crazy one when you think we're just about 2 minutes away from what was a Premier League club as recently as a couple of seasons ago. So let's have a little walk, shall we? Well, I've never seen out like it in all my life, to be honest. Well, if you want a little kebab after the match. So yeah, this, folks, is Kenilworth Road. I know I sound like a real startled northerner there. Sorry, this is Kenilworth Road, which I find absolutely astonishing. Look at it. Look at all this. Have you ever seen a football ground like this? Imagine, in full voice, right next to these houses. It's one of the gates where you come in. I mean, I've probably come a back way, admittedly, but, you know, I'm just going to have a little scoot around and see whether there is a more sort of familiar entrance area, but I find that really surprising. I mean, there is a juniors game going on inside. That's the noise you can hear. The Bobber's Box. And it is crazy. You look, I'm not going to film kids playing footy, obviously, but you just look through the little slit there and you can see the ground, and it's just like a different world inside, you know. But outside, blimey, they definitely need a new ground. Wow. There you go. So yeah, the old Hatters. Yeah, I bet they're really looking forward to going up to Power Park, that's all I can say. And there's the road sign, Kenilworth Road. So, just in the shadow of Luton's ground there, as you can see. We'll have a little wander down. Some interesting buildings down here, actually. Obviously it's people's houses and homes, so I'll try not to be too intrusive, but I'll show you some of the architecture. It's quite interesting. I don't know what this centre is here. I thought I'd fill in with a few more facts about Luton. That central mosque I showed you on Westbourne Road, that was formerly the biggest purpose-built mosque in modern day Europe when we hark back to the 1980s. Okay, so in the 1930s, Luton made around about 70 million hats per year. 70 million, it's quite a lot, isn't it? And now there are around about 100 different languages spoken here, different cultures. The Vauxhall factory, which I mentioned earlier, in World War II, that manufactured Churchill tanks. And that attracted the attention of the Luftwaffe, who destroyed 1,500 homes in Luton. Now, there is a place called Luton Hoo just on the outskirts, and I believe a few films were actually filmed there, and they're quite surprising, the films. There's been a couple of Bond films, The World Is Not Enough and Never Say Never Again. But then we've had 4 Weddings and a Funeral, that was filmed in Luton. Blinded by the Light, another film. And the last film that Stanley Kubrick made, Eyes Wide Shut, before his death, that was also filmed in Luton as well. So quite interesting from a cinematography point of view, Luton. It's had its attractors as a choice to film things. Obviously this is the main town centre area now. And the barbers there. All too familiar. Big spoons. There we go. Always the spoons. So we've got a big shopping centre ahead. Luton Point. And that's how it seems to have become, isn't it, really? You get the independent shops of a certain type, bubble shop, kebabs, so on. And then a lot of the main stores, if you like, the branches, the national companies, they tend to be in shopping centres these days, probably incentivised to move into there with cheap rents for a certain period. But then what happens, like in the town where I live, those incentive periods actually run out and you end up with half the shopping area, the mall or whatever you want to call it, empty, which isn't great. And then what happens next? Shops of a certain type may go in there. Go on, pigeon. So you can see St George's Square in the centre of Luton ahead of you there. Not the biggest of squares, but it's very significant with its history in that there was a time when returning soldiers from the Anglian regiment were met with a number of obscenities being screamed at them after they returned from a tour of Afghanistan, and the people that were throwing these obscenities were from the British Salafi group Al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and they were demonstrating in protest of their homecoming. Now this was seen as a provocative stunt and it was disowned by Luton's main Islamic communities, but like I said earlier, the Salafi group were behind it and they were a little bit more extreme in their methodologies. And this, along with recruitment allegedly outside a local Luton bakers for the Taliban, which was reported in the local press and seen by Stephen Yaxley Lennon, arguably began what became the EDL and what followed. So, you'll be very familiar with the story of Stephen Yaxley Lennon, I'm sure, and what happened next. I mean, there's been quite a lot happen next. Just recently, he's been incarcerated for an offence of contempt of court by showing a film called Silenced in Trafalgar Square in July. Initially he was in Belmarsh, but then moved to Woodhill here at Milton Keynes. And if you didn't have sat-nav, it would take some finding. It's in a very rural area. Lots and lots of roundabouts as you'd expect around Milton Keynes. And then eventually you come across this one. Now, there's quite a bit of controversy about him being held in solitary confinement. He says it's affecting his mental health. The authorities have said, apparently, that if the film isn't taken down from social media or from the public domain, that they'll imprison him again, allegedly. He's not the only notable inmate here. Michael Peterson, you may know him as Charles Bronson, he's here. Or Charles Salvador, I think he calls himself now. And it's quite an unsafe prison, actually. It was put into emergency measures at one point. It had the highest rate of serious assaults in England and Wales on staff, and there was a time when a lot of the inmates were too scared to come out of the cells, apparently. And it has been known as an Alcatraz style regime, so from that I think they mean it'd be pretty impossible to escape from here. So under 10 minutes away from Woodhill prison, where Stephen Yaxley Lennon is incarcerated at the moment, is somewhere that's fundamental to us enjoying our freedoms, anyway. So I thought I'd come here to Bletchley Park. We're celebrating 80 years since VE Day. There we are, home of the code breakers. Fantastic place. And we owe a lot to Alan Turing and everybody involved. Poor Alan.